Hello. Today we're going to be talking about this prime cut of picanha. I got this cut of meat from a local market. They were selling it at $6.99 a pound for USDA prime. It weighs in a little over 3 pounds, and I paid a little over $21 for it. So far as you see it, it's only been washed with cold water and then patted down with paper towels. Now we're ready to prep it for the grill. As you can probably tell, the first thing we want to do here is clean this steak up. And as you can see, I'm pretty anxious of doing it as well, but I think first things first, let's get some gloves on. While we do that, we'll talk about the goal here. So we do want to clean the cut of meat up. We want to cut into some relatively thick steaks, and then we're going to season them, and then we're going to reverse sear them on the Weber Kettle today. I have to admit, my love for this cut is relatively recent. I've always loved the intense marbling of a good ribeye or even a New York strip. But for $6.99 a pound, and for Prime, I had to try it. And not to mention that so many people recommend it in my personal life and even on YouTube. And I'm glad I did because it's my new favorite cut of meat. And last time I tried a ribeye, it was pretty disappointing, especially for what I paid for it. So I did cut the silver skin off of this cut, and then you'll see me cut it into steaks along with the grain, and then I'm gonna season it with some coarse salt, black pepper, onion and garlic powder, and some fresh oregano from the garden. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to that, and you'll see the steaks when they're ready. I had to freeze this frame really fast to demonstrate the intense marbling that this prime cut of beef has. Just by looking at the marble in the flesh and the fat cap, you can understand what I say that it can rival any cut of ribeye that I've had in a long time. So that's all I had to show you. We'll bring it back when they're seasoned and ready to go on the grill. These are the steaks we're going to reverse sear on the Weber kettle today. I seasoned them with coarse salt, freshly cracked black pepper, onion, garlic powder, and oregano from the garden. I am a gardener, and down here in South Florida, Zone 10B, oregano is evergreen, so I have a huge bush of it. And even with these steaks seasoned and trimmed, you can still see how much marbling is on them. Delicious. This is the kettle we're going to reverse sear those picanha steaks on. As you can see, we have some smothered charcoals here, better conserve. So I start off with some fresh charcoals in the chimney, and then I go ahead and lay the smothered charcoals on top. That way the smothered charcoals don't fall through the bottom. So after I get all the charcoal in my chimney, we're going to get it lit with some fire starters today. We are using some fire starters made from biomass. I used to use the Weber Kettle fire starters, the candle-like material. Those were pretty good, and they were relatively cheap. These were actually cheaper, so I cook a lot, and that stuff counts. Uh, so we're going to go ahead and light these fire starters, and then we're going to place our chimney on top of the fire starter, and then we're going to wait till our coals are red hot and smoldering, just like this. Now that our coals are ready, we're going to set up our grill for the reverse sear. We use the Weber charcoal baskets and we put them on one side, and then I put like a foil pan on the other side, kind of like indirect heat. I use the foil pan. It's not a water pan today. It's a steak, so it's relatively fast. I just wanted to catch the fat drippings and not mess up the grill, make it easier to clean later. So we pour our charcoal on one side and we put the foil pan down. And then after that, we put the grates on and we're ready to cook. Now that our grill is up to temp, we're gonna go ahead and put our steaks on for the reverse sear. What I do is I put them on the opposite side of the coals, fat side facing the coals. That way the meat has some kind of protection from the direct heat of the hot coals. I like to eat my steaks at medium rare, so what I usually do is I reverse sear them till they're about rare, and then when I put them over the direct coals, that should take them to the medium rare temperature that I enjoy. So we'll be back when we're ready to sear. And this is what the steaks look like when they're ready to be seared. I give it a quick little poke test. I'll give a thermometer test in the future, but I know that's pretty much rare. and basically I'm searing them evenly on both sides right now to make sure that I have an even crust and an even bark on both sides. I do enjoy reverse searing the pecanions, mainly because there's so much fat on them. They flare up relatively fast, so if you were to cook them in a traditional manner, then most likely you would get flare-ups and you would not get the temperature that you would expect. So searing process is the same. We'll sear them on both sides until they look good, and then we'll be back when we're ready to pull them off the grill. And this is what they look like when they're ready to be pulled off the grill. Um, these steaks are still poking them around. They're just about there. They're in between rare and medium rare. I can accept that. And so we do want to let them rest. So we're going to take them off the grill and then we're going to let them rest inside on the cutting board. And then we're going to cut them and garnish the dish. Here they are in all their glory, waiting to be devoured. I go ahead and let them rest on this cutting board between 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're going to go ahead and cut them open. As you can see, one of them didn't quite make it to the cutting board, but it's okay. That was cooker's choice. We're ready to cut them. This is the most exciting part. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the biggest steak. I'm going to cut it straight down the middle. Like I said, I'm shooting for the medium rare, and it looks like we got right where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and cut slices, ready to present on the cutting board. I like to serve my family style, and we all just kind of eat in one big happy mess. So I'm gonna go off back to the garden, and I'm gonna get some more garnish. I'm thinking I have some basil flowers, I have some more oregano, and we'll see what we can do with this cutting board. And we're ready to garnish. So this is just something I do just to take pictures, let everybody know dinner's ready. Maybe it'll appeal to their stomach and they can come eat at the table a little faster. But either way, I have a lot of things in the garden growing right now, and if I don't cut them, then the iguanas will take them. So here we go. I'm just gonna plate with a little bit of basil, and then I think I'm going back now and get some more oregano, but you guys don't really have to hold for that. I'd like to thank you for watching my video. This was my first video, and I'm happy to do it on my brand new obsession, picanha. If you've never had picanha before, you have to try it. It has the marbling content of a ribeye, but an intense beefy flavor, and it's about 25% less than what you pay for a ribeye. So feel free to come back and watch more videos in the future. I'm definitely going to be putting out more videos, and thank you.